Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel as well as like this video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a reaction, but it's not to music. So today's reaction is going to be the Red Table Talk with Jada Pinkett and T.I. So there's been a lot of controversy surrounding T.I. recently because of his involvement with his oldest daughter's virginity. Anyway, so let's get into this video.
Recently, rapper T.I., or T.I.P. as I know him, made some highly controversial comments about his daughter's virginity, which caused a firestorm. Today, T.I.P. and Tiny are coming to the Red Table to publicly address his comments for the first time.
Hey. What's going on? Yo, what's up, bro? Welcome. How you feeling, boy? I just found out it was 90 degrees here today.
Alright, I'm gonna let y'all go. I just wanted to say hi,
Oh, so you're not gonna...
He's not sitting at the table.
When another king and queen show up at the house,
Yeah, I was
they
hoping...
must be greeted and honored properly. You know what I mean?
I was hoping to offset some of these opinions on you.
Yeah.
I had somebody help.
Can't nobody help you out of this shit storm that you done dug up for yourself, bruh. Oops. I done muted it.
I was like, Tip coming to the Red Table. I was like, I'm gonna say hi, but y'all got...
Right on, brother. Good to see you,
Good luck,
man.
brother.
Tell him I said keep the car ready. Ready, man.
So let me ask you this, T.I.P. What the hell's going on?
Now, if I may say in my defense now.
Hold on. So he brought his wife to try to help him out and try to... He really brought Tiny to try to help him out with this.
No.
Go ahead.
Now, I came here for the tough stuff. No easy ride for me, baby.
Well, then you know what? Let's just start with what's in the headlines right now. And there's this...
Hyman-gate.
The uproar all started after T.I. gave an interview on parenting, specifically about his 18-year-old daughter, Deja, whose mother is singer Miss Nico.
So have you had the sex talk with your daughter?
Not only have we had the conversation, we have yearly trips to the gynecologist to check her height.
Oh, from Gloria Steinem to Planned Parenthood.
Like, that is literally so disgusting to me. It really is. Like, I understand being concerned about your daughter's virginity. And I understand wanting to see if she's a virgin and hope that she's a virgin. But if she's not, she's 18. And the simple fact that you are so concerned enough to tell the doctor to check her hymen, that's doing too much.
Backlash was immediate and huge. Founder of the Me Too movement, Tarana Burke, had this to say.
It opens up this can of worms that I don't think that he really was prepared to open up. We're talking about this long tradition of checking the purity of women's bodies. And I think that a lot of men have this idea that being a good father is protecting your daughter's virginity. But it's so problematic in so many ways. It lends itself to this notion that men own their daughters.
Author and professor of sociology at Georgetown University, Michael Eric Dyson shares his opinion.
Being a father, a black father in particular, is not the easiest thing in the world. And a guy like T.I. believed that the predatory behavior of other men who were like you when you were younger, the guys you knew were doing dirt, must be protected against. But let's be honest.
You're doing the same thing.
Attempting to exercise control, leverage his authority as a patriarch on his daughter in terms of protecting her. But there's a difference between control and education.
If she got pregnant, people would say, how did you let your daughter get pregnant so early? And it would look like a failing on his part. But the answer to that is not policing your daughter's body. So I would love to understand better what he really thinks about this.
I just want to give you a moment to say what you feel like you'd like to say.
Firstly, I came to clear up any misconceptions that have been.
Ain't no misconception. You just a dog. You have control issues. Point blank, period. I gotta turn the heat on because I'm cold.
Surrounding how we interact and parent and what is appropriate and inappropriate. I think all of this surrounds a conversation that I was having in a very joking manner when asked,
that's not
how
joking.
do I deal with parenting in this day and age? And so I just began to, from a place of truth, I began to embellish and exaggerate. And I think that a lot of people kind of like take it extremely literal. Because if you put any of my reputation...
you see how Jada Mama just was like, he's a narcissist. That's what it seems like to me. He is really narcissistic.
I like who I am as a father and who I've been. I honestly thought people knew me better than that.
Well, there's some of us that know you, but there's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah.
Do you understand the sensitivity of it? Oh, really?
I did not.
Do you understand it now?
Oh, I understand it now. Yes, I do. Absolutely. However, my intentions, I think, have been terribly misconstrued and misconceived.
Right.
Let me go set this record straight. Never said I was in any exam room. That is an assumption.
Right.
That is a falsity.
Got it.
I never said that it was being done present day.
Right.
As an 18-year-old.
She was 15 and 16 years old at the time.
And I never said that her mother wasn't present.
Right.
Her mom was present
They
every
went
time.
together.
Right.
He was just, most fathers don't go, but he was just present.
Right.
Yeah.
And he didn't make the doctor's appointment.
No.
He was already...
Why can't he speak for himself? You don't have nothing to do with it, Tiny. Stay out of it.
appointment.
And all of these things, all of this narrative, this false narrative has just been sensationalized.
So at the time, her mother welcomed your presence, and your daughter did too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was never any objection.
Right.
She did have a problem with me talking about it, however.
Right.
And I understand
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And I am incredibly apologetic to her for that.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah.
To you, sweet baby Deja. Not to any of these other strangers or any of
Yeah, because you spoke about something that's so private and so personal, and you broadcasted it. Now you got people coming at her like, oh, you a virgin, let me do this, let me do that. Like, that's sick.
Just kind of toss lies around for fun.
Yeah.
She understands my intentions, and she knows who I am. She knows who I've always been.
Right.
And I think that allows a certain level of understanding. I mean, it's just the outside.
What's up with her eye?
The noise
Like right here.
is distracting, is confusing.
Jada look like
It's
and
hurtful.
it is. It's hurtful and embarrassing.
She was horrified.
Well, I definitely understood why she would be, feel like, it was personal to her.
Right.
Deja's a quiet child. She doesn't talk a lot. She doesn't, you have to nudge things out of her.
Right. Because we as women understand how, especially for a young girl, how delicate and what it exposes about her very private,
Especially to her father.
intimate life.
I didn't get it. I was oblivious to it. However,
because you let your sons be boys and reckless and disgusting. So of course you want to control. No. Like, his older boys are just so boys. He's letting them be boys. But you have a girl. It's different. You can't be all up in that cookie box, honey. No.
Sensitive to it for her.
Yeah.
For her. And then all of a sudden when the number 2 hit the fan, and I hadn't addressed it, at her request.
Yeah.
I was taking the bullets, and that's not, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm fine in the fire.
Right.
Fine in the fire. There's
Right.
no problem with that. My daughter said, just let it go. Don't say nothing, just let it go. And I didn't. Until I had different directives. Okay, go ahead, make it stop.
Right.
Clear it up. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And I would not be here today had I not had those different directives. I'd still
Yeah,
be
right.
sitting in
She's
silence.
still not talking to you though, bro.
From you, I have 3 powerful, independent, brilliant women, and I want to know, what is the purpose and place of a father in this society? Because
Who you trying to switch it up? I see you trying to switch it up, trying to make you seem like, oh, I'm really trying to learn. What was the error of my ways? You don't understand what you did wrong, Tip. That's the problem. That's the damn problem right there. You still don't get what you did wrong.
a father like myself who wants to be as involved and as attentive as possible, we could draw the conclusion of we just donate sperm and come pay for things, and we don't really have no say-so in how things are
No,
handled.
that's not true. I don't
Right.
think that's the case at all. And I don't think anybody has a problem with you being involved in that. I think it was more like, that's so very personal.
And
I don't
invasive.
think anybody has a problem with you protecting your daughter.
No.
That's not the issue.
It's not
the hype
protection.
that they
It's the
want.
hiding part of you. And having been a young girl myself, having raised several young women, and realizing that a woman's journey in regards to her sexuality has to be guided, right? Mostly, I think, by mothers. That's just me personally.
Okay.
But mother, in truly understanding what that journey is, takes her daughter's hand and walks her through.
Okay.
Right? That's how I work that out with Will. There's just certain things about raising a man
Right.
that I can't know. I would tell him, love your daughter,
Right.
let me teach her.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because there's certain sensitivities
Okay.
That you just don't understand.
that you might not understand and have just
This is
because
true.
of your relationship in the world.
Okay,
is
Jada.
different
Okay.
than a woman's relationship.
I
right?
respect that completely.
Yeah.
Do you understand that though? Like, Jada is speaking straight fact, straight truth. And do you understand that, Tip? I don't think he does.
I knew when you talked about it because I live with a man that loves his daughter.
Right.
You know, in the conversations I've had to have with him in regards to what is protecting her, what is educating her, what is actually allowing her to self-actualize as her own individual self versus control,
Sure.
right?
'Cause that's
So when
control
I heard
what Tip is
happened, I
doing.
said, I know what he's trying to say.
Right.
He's like, I'm present. I'm present in a way that anything that she needs,
That's right.
any kind of trouble I feel like she might be in, I'm right here.
Exactly.
I got her.
I got
Yeah.
her.
Right.
I totally understood that. But at the same time, especially when we're dealing with these kind of sensitive issues, knowing the extent of that protection. The idea that people thought you were trying to control your daughter's virginity versus, no, because that's very different.
I
It
have
is.
a question.
Okay, ask it.
Okay, first of all, the word control is very...
But you know that's what it sounds like.
I know,
Tim.
but in order to guide or direct, you must have a certain level of control of anything.
Okay, so...
Okay,
So,
so...
so how do you want
No.
us to understand your level of control in which you were speaking of?
Well, I think that in the age or the time where
Right.
our women, black women, are the most unprotected,
Yes, and I
unattended,
get that.
disregarded
Yes.
women on the planet,
Yes.
I'm being criticized because I'm willing to go above and beyond to protect mine.
Right.
And I'm talking about all of the little slimy, grimy, chippy-fingered little boys.
So, you're protecting her by ensuring that she's a virgin. Theoretically. That's what you're saying. So, how else are you controlling her virginity and her, just herself? Like, what else are you doing to protect your child? Like, it makes me wonder, like, are you going through her phone? Are you following her? Like, what else are you doing?
Want to just come and defile and destroy the sanctity that I have. Hey man, listen, I'm just saying, right? I don't understand anything that is the most important thing to me in my life. I am going to deal with that with very extreme care. And I don't understand how that is looked at as being so wrong. In order to control, for there to be malice, there must be ill intent. If I'm going to the doctor with you just for the sake of controlling you, then okay. But if I'm going for the purpose of being a protective parent, and there's no such thing as overprotective. There's protected and unprotected.
But what's important to you though? Because I don't think it's so much about virginity as much. Or was it?
Well, to me, I am here to protect all of the children from themselves until they make it to a point where they have awareness, a sense of self, and discernment to be able to make certain decisions on their own that will impact their lives indefinitely.
How? When you letting your one child, when you letting, what's the name, King, be a little slut bucket, texting women when he was like, what, 9?
16 years old, that she might not have the understanding of what it means to engage in that way?
Well, absolutely. Since she turned 18, like, I don't have control of anything.
Right.
It's on you. You go. You know what I mean? Run, fly, be yourself.
How can she be herself when
her there? Especially in a day where there's so much input, so many other perspectives thrown at children, like, you know, from YouTube to Instagram, like the concept of love, beauty, life, sex, all of those things, those lines are being blurred every second.
Right.
So there has to be someone there to clarify what is acceptable, what is unacceptable. I trust and believe that I put moral standards.
Okay, if you trust that you put all of that inside of your daughter, you don't need to try to control her anymore, because you need to trust that what you put inside of her is already there. The morals, the values, and all of that stuff.
And greatness in all of my children.
Right.
But until they learn how to unlock it and use those powers for themselves, it has to be harnessed.
When I think about the girls that I've raised, I was never really trying to protect their virginity versus making sure that they had a level of understanding
and respect for themselves
before going into certain things. But it was never about the virginity.
It's not protecting. I'm not there to protect necessarily virginity. I just know that is a big move.
Right, okay.
Once you make that move,
okay, there we go.
There are things that happen that follow.
Right.
You have to be equipped. And I don't know if you're equipped, or I don't know. Like, I have to, awareness is my first line of defense.
Right, so that's different.
Okay, I don't know how, but okay.
You only have but so much control.
Right. So I have been vocal about what to expect or not to expect foolishly of young men. You know, as she begins to engage and socialize. Just, hey man, listen, keep your expectations low. You can't get your feelings wrapped up in this now. This is a physical urge. This is animalistic urge is taking over right here. This is not an emotional, romantic encounter for this gentleman.
So,
I don't think it is.
Do you think that's the part you were trying to protect her from?
Yes, because if you
feel like young boys that age would not be able to care for
defile and destroy
daughter. Care for your daughter emotionally in the way in which you think she deserves.
Absolutely.
And that's different.
I mean, definitely. All of the above. Then she definitely should be afraid for what could potentially come from, you know, doing the do.
Right.
You know what I mean? The dangers of pregnancy, the dangers of diseases, the dangers of, you know, just having your heart broken, thrown away and discarded, not to be forgotten.
Let's say that you went to the doctor's appointment. Now, first of all, we all know that hymens can be broken by riding a horse. It can be and you could be very sexually active in your hymen be intact. That is
These all things that
you are learning as
I'm learning,
a man now, being in the hot seat.
I'm looking to you guys to educate.
Yes. Well, let me ask you another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say that you found out that she, at 15 or 16 years old, wasn't a virgin. What would you have done then?
Your childhood ends when you lose your virginity. That's it. That you ended your childhood, and it's time to begin adulthood. And I can't let you run around trying to enjoy the luxuries of adulthood without any of the responsibilities of adulthood.
But when you say your childhood ends, what do you mean? Like,
You must heighten the level of responsibility. That could be birth control. It could be financial, or just having a plan. You can't just run around not knowing what you want to do no more.
Right.
You can't just run around like, oh, I'll figure it out later. No. Now you've made a decision that you want to be an adult. Now you need to have a plan together. You need to, because if you figured this out,
She don't agree.
Right.
Look, Toddy like, nah, I don't agree with that, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
I still feel like it would have been different if it was your son versus your daughter.
Right. And I always think it's so interesting in how men treasure their daughter's virginity, but not their sons.
I kind of made the comparison of a son versus a daughter.
Right.
If my son goes out and gets a girl pregnant, how is the household changed for those 9 months? The household does not necessarily change those 9 months. Whereas if my daughter come home, my household is changed immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
So the stakes are higher.
Yeah.
We were raised to provide and protect.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't recall having much of a childhood besides figuring out ways to get my mama out the ghetto.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think that if there is any more to be taught, it has to come in the form of philosophy, not punishment.
Absolutely. You just brought up something that I think is very interesting. The conditioning that comes with being a father. We all have been conditioned in a way to
Unlearn
look
and
at...
relearn.
Exactly. And I think that in this very sensitive time when we have all this
Social media
and social justice issues around the female body.
This is the thing about the female body. I think
That nobody can control it. That's the thing about the female body. Nobody can control a woman's body. Point blank, period. No. Ooh, I'm ashy.
is different when it comes to mom than when it comes to dad, you see?
Oh, it's very different.
I know it and I don't understand it. I mean, because the same thing we're talking about, just like you said, the virginity of my daughter versus the virginity of my son. Okay, so it's the same conversation around mom versus dad, because mom can tell daughter not to cut her hair, not to perm her hair, not to color her hair, not to get piercings or whatever, but she can give her body away to anybody she wants to without pop saying anything.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is what you have to understand, though. It's a patriarchal structure that is not all that.
I heard that word before.
Yes, which
I heard that term before. I didn't know that term was a thing. Patriarch.
Well, it's like it is
Sorry. Cut off.
the outlook of men.
Okay.
And it tends to be, at times, often, oppressive to the feminine journey.
Okay.
Right.
Has have females actually tried to explain?
Absolutely.
To
That's
men?
why you have feminists.
Okay.
That's why you have womanists.
Because I think that feminists sometimes it can be misconstrued by people who don't understand it as women wanting men to stop silencing them so they could silence men.
Well, it's not that. There's a lot that happens in the feminine journey.
Okay.
Right? It's often told or seen and led through the eyes of men who know nothing about women and what we're going through.
But I think they should stay out of it.
Boom. That's the point. Because I felt like even when I heard what happened, I said, oh, he doesn't understand the level.
I don't.
He found out how serious it was and how personal it was after he said it, because you know he didn't think about that.
Yeah, and I understood that just because I'm in this house with Will. He be saying the craziest stuff. He don't understand the level. And thank God he has me and he's got Willow. So we educate that joker before he leaves this house. You know what I mean? He's one of those that likes to tell stories and
he's
sometimes goes too far. Willow has gone at her dad several times for very insensitive comments, whether it's around menstruation or around, like, oh, you must be PMS. And she's like,
See,
That right there, we're not gonna do that.
Hello.
I don't see no problem with that. I don't see no problem. I mean, but
It's just respecting.
I understand that I don't understand. See, where we're at. See, this is the part right here where we're, man. See.
No, every day
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. What I appreciate about this moment and what I appreciate about you is understanding that this is a teachable moment.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And also, I think that it's great for me to have this opportunity. And I think that all things happen in life for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know, every lesson has a purpose and must be dealt with differently. But out of care and out of concern, not out of control.
And out of education.
I don't think that our community, our culture, our generation can be pushed forward by having comfortable, convenient discussions.
That's
We
real.
have to have tough discussions in order to move forward.
Right. And I knew when I heard it.
That don't make sense.
There's a big misunderstanding.
It's a misunderstanding.
And I knew that first
I appreciate
and
you
foremost.
for that.
Oh, I knew that.
And that's
Tim.
why I wouldn't come anywhere to speak about this, because I know
Oh,
most people
no.
just use it as a platform for themselves.
And I understood why people misunderstood you.
So sorry Willow couldn't make it.
Well, you know what, Tip? I think you might be happy in the long run. So let me ask you this. Hold it. We're not done yet.
I never, ever, ever had sex with anyone while we've been married.
I have never, ever, ever lied about this on Red Table Talk.
Part 2 of our conversation with T.I. and Tiny. They have been through it.
I see the emotion in your eyes.
From prison
So when I got back, everything, the world was upside down.
to the brink of divorce.
This conversation, this problem is the exact same thing Will and I had to work through.
Next, Red Table Talk.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so that is it for that episode of Red Table Talk. Jada hit on a lot of very valid points, and I do feel like T.I. did come to educate himself, but I also think he came to clear his name a little bit. It was kind of like two-sided. I do get that he didn't understand, and he's not going to understand, because you are a man trying to raise a young woman, and that's tricky, and that is complex, something I know nothing about. But being a young woman once, I know how sensitive that is and personal that is. So I really hope that he does take this as a learning opportunity and move forward. But that is it for this video. I hope you liked this reaction. If you did, comment down below. If you have made it this far, do pound dope if you made it this far. And until next time, guys, bye.